जगन्नाथ जगन्नाथ बलदेवा जय सुभद्रमा जय गौरानिताय 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 जय गौरानिताय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय जय गुरुदेव जय ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्रचार्य अस्तोत्र सत श्री श्रीमद हिज डिवाइन ग्रेस अभय चरण रविंद भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी श्रील प्रभुपाद की इस्कॉन फाउंडर आचार्य श्रील प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की नामाचार्य श्रील हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधारा श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की वृंदावन धाम की मथुरा धाम की नवदीप धाम की श्री जगन्नाथ स्वामी की यमुना माई की श्रीमती तुलसी देवी की सामवेद भक्त वृंद की गौर प्रेमानंदी all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Gurudev ki jai. Welcome to this morning Srimad Bhagvatam class at North Sydney Temple, Sri Radha Gopinath's Mercy. Welcome to you all and welcome to the online viewers on Mayapur TV. Thank you for your feedback. Keep them coming so I can improve myself every time. So this morning we are reading from Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 1, Chapter 9, Text 34. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devam Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nasta Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nandagopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Okay, let's move 10 to 34. Yudhi, Duraga, Rajo, Vidhumra, Vishwak, Kacha, Lulita, Strama, Vari, Alankritasye, Mama, Nishita, Shareir Vibidyamana Tvachi Vilasat Kavache Stu Krishna Atma Yuddhi Turanga Rajovi Dhumra Vishvak Kacha Lulita Shamavari Alankritasye Mama Nishita Sharir Vibhidayamana Tvachi Vilasat Kavachestu Krishna Atma Yuddhi Turaga Rajo Vidhumra Vishvak Kacha Lulita Shamavari Alankritasye Mama Nishita Sharir Vibhidayamana Tvachi Vilasat Kavachestu Krishna Atma Yuddhi Turaga Rajovi Dhumra Vishvak Kacha Lulita Shamavari Alankritasye Mama Nishita Sharir Vibhidayamana Tvachi Vilasat Kavachestu Krishna Atma Yuddhi Turaga Rajovi Umra Vishvak Kacha Lulita Shamavari Alankritasye Mama Nishita Sharir Vibhidyamana Tvachi Vilasat Kavachestu Krishna Atma Yuddhi Turaga Rajo Vidhumra Vishvak Kacha Lulita Shamavari Alankritasye Mama Nishita Sharir Vibhidyamana Tvachi Vilasat Kavachestu Krishna Atma Yuddhi Turaga Rajovi Dhumra Vishvak Kacha Lulita Shamavari Alankritasye Mama Nishita Sharir Vibhidyamana Tvachi Vilasat Kavachestu Krishna Atma. Okay, Yudhi, on the battlefield. Turaga, horses. Raja, dust. Vidhumra, turned on ashen color. Vishvak, waving. Kacha, hair. Lulita, scattered. Shramavāri, perspiration. Alankrita, decorated with. Asye, unto the face. Mama, my. Nishita, sharp. Share, by. The arrows. Vibhidyamana, pierced by. Tvachi, in the skin. Vilasat, enjoying pleasure. Kavache, protecting armor. Astu, let there be, Krishna, unto Sri Krishna, Atma, mind. So we've got the translation. On the battlefield, where Sri Krishna attended Arjun out of friendship, the flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hoofs of the horses. And because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. All these decorations, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go unto Sri Krishna. So we can repeat. On the battlefield, where Sri Krishna attended Arjun, out of friendship, the flowing hair of Lord Krishna turned ashen due to the dust raised by the hoofs of the horses. And because of his labor, beads of sweat wetted his face. All these decorations, intensified by the wounds dealt by my sharp arrows, were enjoyed by him. Let my mind thus go unto Sri Krishna. So we've got the purport here. By His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So, he says, the Lord is the absolute form of energy, eternity, bliss and knowledge. As such, transcendental loving service of the Lord in one of the 5 principal relations, namely Santa, Dasya, Sakhya, Vatsalya and Madhurya, that is neutrality, servitorship, fraternity, filial affection and conjugal love, is graciously accepted by the Lord when offered to the Lord in genuine love and affection. Sri Bhishmadev is a great devotee of the Lord in relation of servitorship. Thus, his throwing of sharp arrows in the transcendental body of the Lord is as good as the worship of another devotee who throws soft roses upon him. So, what do we do when somebody throws us sharp arrows? Do we think that they are roses? We don't normally. But Krishna is so kind that he accepts arrows as roses. But then it is said that Krishna's skin is infallible. So his skin is just as good as Krishna. Actually, I was listening to Tamal Krishna Maharaj's class a few days ago. And in that he said that Lord Krishna and his skin are one and the same. It's nothing different, not different. And his names also. So here we've got Bhishmadev throwing arrows, and Lord Krishna accepts them as flowers. He feels them like flowers, which is really an amazing concept. Because when somebody throws arrows at us, we bleed and we think they are arrows. We might even think they're knives. But the mercy of the Lord and the way he relates to his devotees is amazing. And here Bhishmadev has this fantastic relationship with Krishna, where he can throw arrows at him, and Krishna accepts them lovingly, which is interesting because I don't know many people who would accept arrows from someone as an offering of love. So Bhishmadev had an amazing relationship. He was a great soul. So he says, but it appears that Bhishmadev is repenting the actions he committed against the person of the Lord. But factually, the Lord's body was not at all pained due to his transcendental existence. His body is not matter. Both he himself and the body are complete spiritual identity. Spirit is never pierced, burnt, moistened, etc. Actually, that is what we learn in the Bhagavad Gita. Krishna has stated, the soul cannot be cut, nor can it be burnt, nor can it be wetted, cannot be destroyed, cannot be harmed. And Krishna is himself is complete in every way, and he can never be destroyed or wetted or cut or in any way. So this is vividly explained in the Bhagavad Gita. So also it is stated in the Skanda Purana. It is said that the spirit is always uncontaminated and indestructible. It cannot be distressed, nor can it be dried up. When Lord Vishnu, in his incarnation, appears before us, he seems to be like one of the conditioned souls materially encaged, just to bewilder the asurs or the non-believers who are always alert to kill the Lord, even from the very beginning of his appearance. So we have the living entities. On one side we have those living entities who are devotees of the Lord and who want his shelter, take his shelter. And the other side, there are those who want to actually kill him. And they are all his creations. So Krishna actually deliberately would have created those asurs who want to kill him. And why would he do that? He wants to be able to fight. He wants to have this, enjoy all the rasas. And Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj actually explained this very nicely. It was quite easy to relate to it after I listened to this particular comparison. He said, try eating a bowl of rice or plate of rice, just rice. And he said, after some time, you will feel it doesn't have any taste. It is just plain rice. But as soon as he said just rice without any salt, without any vegetables, without anything. He said, but as soon as you start adding things to the rice, you add some sabji or you add some dal or some salt, and then suddenly you mix it with the rice, it becomes palatable. It becomes very tasty. So similarly with Krishna, he doesn't just want a certain thing. He wants to be able to fight. And he wants to be able to have people who actually want him killed. I don't think anyone would want anybody to have enemies like that. But he still wants that. They say, the variety of rasas. And variety is, according to Srila Prabhupada, he said the mother of enjoyment. Variety is the mother of enjoyment. Put in another way, variety is the spice of life. So Krishna here, he wanted to fight. And because he's God, who does he fight with? He's God. Who would God fight with? Certainly no one ordinary. We are ordinary souls, ordinary beings, so he wouldn't want to fight with us. So he has to choose somebody who is a great personality. And Bhishma Dev was a chosen one. Bhishma Dev was not ordinary. He was his devotee. He was one of the 12 Mahajans. And Mahajans, I have got a very nice way of describing what a Mahajan is. Let me find it. I wrote it down. A Mahajan is a great soul whose words establish religion in very simple terms. But whatever a Mahajan says, it establishes religion because that's how learned they are. And that was Bhishma Dev. That was his platform, and that is how highly devoted he was. And Krishna chose him to fight. And a devotee is such that they'd be willing to do anything for Krishna, including fight with him and including throw arrows at him. So that was Bhishma Dev. Okay, so where are we? Kamsa, who wanted to kill Krishna, and Ravan wanted to kill Ram, because foolishly they were unaware of the fact that the Lord is never killed, for the spirit is never annihilated. Therefore, Bhishma Dev's piercing of the body of Lord Krishna is a sort of a bewildering problem for the non-devotee atheists. It was not just bewildering for the atheists. Actually, I asked this question to Narasimha Kamacha Prabhu when he came. I said, well, Bhishma Dev is fighting on the other side. He was actually fighting against Krishna. Not only that, he failed to protect Draupadi. When Draupadi was being humiliated in court, being disrobed, Bhishma Dev, he is the epitome of religion, he is the Mahajan. And whatever he says goes as religion, established as religion. Why was he considered to be a devotee? Why was he given such a high-level status? Why was he a Mahajan? And the answer Narasimha Kamacha gave, and it is actually reinforced here in the purport as well, is that he was a devotee of the Lord and he was doing it for the pleasure of Krishna because it was the will of Krishna. Krishna wanted to enjoy these rasas. And Bhishma Dev, being a devotee of Lord Krishna, was willing to do anything for Krishna, including fighting on the other side, from the other side. But he was never an enemy of Krishna. In fact, when he was fighting with Krishna, he was meditating on his form, and he was relishing his form in the form of Parthasarthi. Because his beloved worshipable God, Lord, whichever form he worshipped him was in front of his eyes the whole time. And Bhishma Dev was thinking of Krishna the whole time. And Krishna also said, I was thinking of Bhishma Dev the whole time. They're both like thinking of each other the whole time. And for the pastimes of Lord Krishna, he did this. And we'll talk a little bit more after we finish the purport about this particular point. But those who are devotees or liberated souls are not bewildered. Bhishma Dev appreciated the all-merciful attitude of the Lord because he did not leave Arjuna alone. Although he was disturbed by the sharpened arrows of Bhishma Dev, nor was he reluctant to come before Bhishma Dev's deathbed. Even though he was ill-treated by him on the battlefield, Bhishma's repentance and the Lord's merciful attitude are both unique in this picture. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, a great acharya and devotee in the humor of conjugal love with the Lord, remarks very saliently in this regard. He says, the wounds created on the body of the Lord by the sharpened arrows of Bhishma Dev was pleasing to the Lord. And this is an interesting point to be noted. It was as pleasing to the Lord. In fact, Lord was very pleased with the arrows. As pleasing to the Lord as the biting of the fiancé who bites the body of the Lord, directed by a strong sex desire. Such biting by the opposite sex is never taken as a sign of enmity, even if there is a wound on the body. Therefore, the fighting as an exchange of transcendental pleasure between the Lord and his pure devotee, Sri Bhishmadev, was not at all mundane. Besides that, since the Lord's body and the Lord are identical, there was no possibility of wounds in the absolute body. So he wasn't really hurting Krishna. In fact, Krishna was enjoying it to the full. The apparent wounds caused by the sharpened arrows are misleading to the common man. But one who has little absolute knowledge can understand the transcendental exchange in the chivalrous relation. This chivalrous relation you can find between brothers sometimes. The brothers will wrestle with each other. If you have a brother, and if you are somebody's brother, you will wrestle with each other. And you might even punch each other, throw each other a couple of fists. But you don't mind. You actually enjoy it. That's part of your play. That's how you play. So this kind of relationship Bhishma Dev had with the Lord, God. He was able to fight with him like that, and they enjoyed. The word Vibhidyamana is significant because the Lord's skin is not different from the Lord. Or here it actually says it, that Lord's skin is not different from the Lord. Because our skin is different from our soul, in our case, the word Vibhidyamana, or being bruised and cut, would have been quite suitable. Yeah, we get bruised and we get cut, but not Krishna. Transcendental bliss is of different varieties, and the variety of activities in the mundane world is but a perverted reflection of the transcendental bliss. Every emotion that we feel in this material world, it is there in the spiritual world in 100% form. And the way it is described is if you see a reflection of a tree on a lake or on a body of water, and the tree in the reflection will look upside down. Similarly, every emotion in this world is a reflection of all the emotions in the spiritual world, but in reverse. Everything we feel is there also, but the effect is opposite. Like, for example, we have relationships. And you might have a relationship with someone, but in the spiritual world, it gives absolute unlimited pleasure. But in here, on material world, it will give you eventually some pain. That's the difference. It's in reverse. We have the queens of Krishna. They are always bickering amongst themselves because he has many queens. He doesn't have one. He has millions. Well, 16,108 and probably more. So they bicker amongst themselves. And over here, what happens when a man has 2 wives or more? Well, we are not allowed. That would be against the law. But some men do keep it. And the wives, they fight amongst themselves and there's chaos. The wives are in pain. There's a lot of problems. Maybe they hit each other. Maybe they smash each other. And the husband is totally miserable. He's supposed to be enjoying the wives, but he doesn't really. There's misery. But over there in the spiritual world, the bickering between Krishna's queens has an opposite effect. Krishna enjoys it to the maximum, obviously. But the queens, they also have a great time. They have unlimited spiritual pleasure out of it. They don't feel any pain. And that is the difference. So the emotions over there is quite different. The effect is the same, but the effect gives pleasure, spiritual pleasure there. And over here, it gives us pain, which is why we shouldn't really be here. We should endeavor to go somewhere where we are always happy. So that's the difference. Everything here is in reverse. Anyway, so where were we? The Lord was... okay, so perfect. Mundane world is but a perverted reflection of the transcendental bliss. Because everything in the mundane world is qualitatively mundane, it is full of inebrities, whereas in absolute realm, because everything is the same, of the same absolute nature, there are varieties of enjoyment without inebriety. The Lord enjoyed the wounds created by his great devotee Bhishma Dev, and because Bhishma Dev is a devotee in a chivalrous relation, he fixes up his mind on Krishna in that wounded condition. So that's Bhishma Dev's image of Lord Krishna. Everyone has got one, and we're all struggling to find it. My brother was questioning me yesterday about rasa. How do we know what our relation is with Krishna? What is our rasa? And the answer is that we don't know yet. And I asked that question to my Guru Maharaj also. And I said, how would we know what our rasa is? And my Guru Maharaj said, well, the spiritual master reveals it by the mercy of Krishna. So you need 2 elements. You need the spiritual master and you need Lord Krishna's mercy, both together. Bhishma Dev already knew that he was a fantastic, great devotee. He was a Mahajan, so he knew his relations. But we are not quite there yet. We are very, very insignificant. So, Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manovistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deen Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavanishwari Vrishabhanu Sutedevi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpa Trubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So the feedback I got last time was we actually, in our classes, we give a lot of cut and dry philosophy. But how is this applicable to our lives? What's in it for us? And what can we actually use out of this to apply in our own lives? Well, this is a very nice example of Bhishma Dev passing away. What is he teaching us? What can we use out of this? Bhishma Dev is teaching us how to live and how to die. He is actually telling us how to die. We can use this example by fixing, when at the time of death, we fix our minds on Krishna. the prayers that was recited by Bhishma Dev was so beautiful that you even listen to the prayers, you will feel, maybe you'll feel liberated already because of the way he was describing Krishna. They were such beautiful words and a beautiful description. And we can actually learn from this is no matter what Krishna puts us through. Because Bhishma Dev was lying on a bed of arrows, and it was a very painful situation for him. He was shot with arrows so many times. It is described that the distance between one arrow and the other one arrow on his body was not more than 2 fingers span. So if you can imagine, put yourself with 2 fingers there. You could not put 3 there because the next one would have been hitting the arrow. And there were so many arrows that went straight through his body that as he fell, the body is actually, the arrows on his body that went through just stuck on the ground and made a bed. So that was Bhishma Dev's bed that he was lying there. And he didn't really die instantly. He could die at will. And he was waiting for Krishna for 2 months. 50-something days. Was it 56 days or 53 days? For 2 months. He was just lying there. He was waiting for Krishna. Can anyone do that? I don't know of anyone except Srila Prabhupada. Tamal Krishna Maharaj really glorified Srila Prabhupada. And this is Srila Prabhupada is in our day and age, modern day and age. And we learn from that also. Srila Prabhupada, for 4 months, this is before he left his body, and this is Tamal Krishna Maharaj's commentary, narration in a class. For 4 months, Srila Prabhupada had not eaten anything. 4 months. And 4 months to the point that in the end, he couldn't even lift his hand. He was so weak. But in such a state, Tamal Krishna Maharaj said that in such a state, a person would be unconscious or even dead. I mean, how can you live without eating for 4 months? Here, Bhishma Dev is lying in a bed of arrows for 2 months in so much pain. And Srila Prabhupada, in real life, it happened. 4 months. And even in this state, Bhishma Dev, for 2 months, he was preaching. Right now, he was preaching to the Pandavas. Why he was preaching was Lord Shri Krishna, he wanted pious kings on the throne. Because if he hadn't created this battle and killed off Duryodhan and all his brothers and his sons and his associates, then they would have been on the throne. They would have been sitting on the throne. So Krishna's ultimate main purpose was to have pious people sitting on the throne. Why he wanted them was so that it's for the better of mankind, to keep the society intact, to uphold dharma, to maintain religion. Right now, all our kings are not like that. No one that I know, none of them are pious, and everything, the whole society is being dismantled. I mean, you can see for yourself when you open the news. There's none of the dharma, religion is being upheld. There's killings, there's murders, there's all kinds of nonsense happening. I couldn't even start. I wouldn't even begin to know how. There's so many children suffering out there, single parents. Women don't know that they're supposed to marry men. They want to marry women. Men don't know they're supposed to marry a woman. They want to marry a man. This is society at its worst. Everything is dismantled. There is no proper system anymore. And Krishna was trying to avoid all this, and that's why he wanted the Pandavas there. And so he designed this Kurukshetra battle. And Bhishma Dev, on his deathbed, for 2 months he didn't die. He was waiting for Krishna, but he was also waiting to give this discourse to the Pandavas, his grandchildren, on the society, how to maintain religion, how to maintain dharma. And that's what Prabhupada did too. For 4 months he had not eaten. He could not lift his hand. And he was preaching on the deathbed, on his deathbed. He was preaching the whole time. And his wish, as Tamal Krishna Maharaj says, his wish was to translate the Srimad Bhagvatam even then. For 4 months he had not eaten. He's in the modern day age, like us. He's got a body like, And so his disciples, they went and got a dictaphone. One of them was holding the dictaphone, and another disciple was reading from the Srimad Bhagvatam itself, the shlokas, and Srila Prabhupada was dictating the translation of the Srimad Bhagvatam that we are reading today from his deathbed, which he hadn't even eaten for 4 months. That is what Srila Prabhupada was doing. So that's what the example is there for us. We might be in the hospital. I've had the most painful experience of seeing my mom in the hospital in that painful situation. And in that painful situation, she was listening to the Bhagavad Gita that I was reciting. And in that painful situation, I was sitting there reciting the Bhagavad Gita. And while Srila Prabhupada's chanting was going, but that is an example that we take out of Bhishma Dev's example, out of Srila Prabhupada's example. No matter what we are going through, we need to remember Krishna. We need to remember Krishna. And in Srila Prabhupada's case, he was preaching, not just remembering Krishna, he was preaching. He was doing his service from his deathbed. So Tamal Krishna Maharaj said that Srila Prabhupada is a modern day Bhishma Dev. No less than Bhishma Dev. Because he was imparting knowledge from his deathbed. He was no less. And after listening to that class, I really appreciated Tamal Krishna Maharaj, because there is no one I have understood or no one I have heard who glorifies a spiritual master as much as he does, and how he does, in the manner in which he does. It was extremely impressive and amazing. But that is what he said. He said Srila Prabhupada was actually our modern day age Bhishma Dev. And that is what Bhishma Dev was doing too before he died. And that is really the example that we need to follow in our lives. Because in everybody's life at some stage, there will come a time when we will be down like this. It will be time for us to die. Or we might face some other big calamity. And in that situation, we need to just focus on Krishna and keep calling Krishna. And it is not that Krishna will not come. Krishna will come. We were fortunate enough to know from my mother's side that my mother made it back to Godhead. This is a personal, obviously, experience, but it is I'm relating this as an example so that it can help others in their moments. It is something that has happened in real life, that she made it back to Godhead, and I don't think anyone in my family has done it so far. So she is the first one. But that is the example that we need to take. We need to be able to come to that stage where no matter what happens, under any circumstance, we are able to call Krishna, depend on him. So that was the main point of this particular stance is Bhishma Dev here is teaching us that is how you live and that is how you die. How you live is you do anything for Krishna. That's how you live. You're prepared to do anything for Krishna. And how you die is in your dying moments, you call Krishna. You think of Krishna, you meditate Krishna. Continue a service for Krishna if you can, to the last breath. So that is all I have to say this morning. If anyone has any question or any comments. Yes. 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 The question is that Krishna fights with Bhishma Dev and he enjoys that. But when he fights with Ravan, And when he fights with, who's the other one comes, is he enjoying that? Yes, actually he is. If you can imagine, there was a joke, Krishna's profile on Facebook, somebody put it there. So his hobbies and interests was killing demons. Like we have our hobbies, and some people like singing, some people like, I don't know, preaching, some people like traveling. Krishna's hobbies, one of them is killing demons. That's one of it, and he enjoys it. He enjoys killing demons, but more than that, he enjoys protecting devotees, and that's the important point in this. When he's killing Ravan, when he's killing Kamsa, he's actually protecting dharma, upholding religion. You know, yada yada hi dharma. So that particular verse in Bhagavad Gita applies directly to this. When he's killing demons, he's protecting his devotees. And that particular aspect of Krishna is known as Bhakta Vatsala, where he does anything. He even breaks his own rules to protect the devotees. And while he's protecting the devotees, he's enjoying it. Just like a father or mother would enjoy protecting their child. They feel very satisfied that they protected their children. Krishna, when killing Kamsa and Ravan, is actually protecting his devotees from demons like, Kamsa, Ravan. There are other demons. Even in the case of Bhishma Dev, Krishna had made a promise that he will never lift a weapon. He had made this promise. And then Bhishma Dev fired so many arrows at Arjun that Arjun's Gandiva bow fell, the string broke. And that time Arjun was taking arrows from Bhishma Dev on his own body. And Krishna had promised he's not going to fight. He's not going to, pick up the weapons. But Bhakta Vatsala, he broke his promise to protect Arjun, his devotee. That's one. And the other one, he broke his promise to satisfy Bhishma Dev, because Bhishma Dev's desire was that Krishna fights with a weapon with him. So he did both. So while he's killing Ravan and Kamsa, while it is seems to be a little bit aghast, agore, it is not very nice. It is ghastly. But he is at the same time upholding dharma. He is protecting his devotees. He is getting the pleasure of that. And one of Krishna's qualities, as explained in the Bhagavad Gita, it is ghastliness. And he enjoys that rasa. It's also in the nectar of devotion too. You might have read already. The ghastliness, Krishna enjoys that. And that ghastliness is not present in the spiritual world, actually. So he is to come down to the material world. In the spiritual world, even, when in the actual Vrindavan, when Kalya Daman was happening, when Krishna was killing Kalya Nag, he stamped on Kalya Nag, and all the venom came out, all the blood came out. He did a lot of other things. He actually had a fight. But in the Goloka Vrindavan spiritual world, when he was subduing Kalya Nag, all he did was he didn't do any of those things, because he couldn't do those extreme emotional type of rasa. It's not present. So how he subdued Kalya Nag was he got the blouses of all his Nagins, Patnis, and put them together and put it in a string and put it through the nose of Kalya Nag and used him as a horse and drove him around like a horse on the lake. And so he humiliated the wives and Kalya Nag like that. But he wasn't, really killing him like that. So there was a difference. And the difference is that in the spiritual world, these emotions are not there, the ghastliness. So he comes down. To kill Ravan, Kamsa, it happens all in the material world like that. And Krishna wants to enjoy those things. He is Sachidananda Vigraha. He wants to enjoy all the, like I said, varieties, spices of life. He enjoys all the rasas. And in order to do that, he makes his arrangements. So yes, Prabhuji. Yes. It seems contradictory. Okay, so the question is that I have mentioned that all the emotions are here in the material world, and so they are in the spiritual world too. So then how come the ghastliness and things are not there? The point is that in the material world, it is in a reverse situation. It is there in the spiritual world in 100% pure form, in the form of pleasure and ecstasy. So certain things are there, but not in such a ghastly form. Let's put it that way. But there is a lot of pain here. But the emotions are the same. The emotions of love is there. The emotion of love is here too. But love here gives, relationships here gives pain. Over there it gives pleasure. The ghastliness, Kaliya Daman was happening there too. And it's happening here. But in a different form. Where it gives fun and pleasure there, but it doesn't give so much here. But Krishna enjoys both. So the acute pain that we feel here, it is not present in the spiritual world. And in the sense that it is pain. The pain is there, but the gopis, it is described, they can't tell the difference between pain and pleasure because for them it's the same. They enjoy both. Even they enjoy the pain. Of separation, they enjoy it. Over here, when we have a pain of separation, we actually want to kill the person we are feeling separation from. How dare you make me feel like this? Or, how dare you separate from me? But over there, no, they would never dream of it. Because they're all connected with Krishna. So it is all there, 100%. But the difference is that it is there's a transcendental pleasure there, and there's pain here. Krishna wants to be part of that too, the material side of it. So he comes down. He is, who can explain him? No one has ever understood Krishna. But we can tell from our scriptures, whatever we read, that he enjoys all the rasas, all. That's why he comes also. But he comes to, of course, establish religion and dharma every time he comes. And he comes to protect his devotees. But he also comes to enjoy. He comes to enjoy. And it is there in the spiritual world, but in a transcendental pleasure sense, not in a painful sense. So that actually gives us the incentive to go there. Because over here, everything is painful. Over there, everything is nice. You never feel pain. You never, not in this way, anyway, not in the material sense. So, does any other questions or any other comments? Okay, then Srimad Bhagavatam Puran ki jai. Hare Krishna, yes, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, Mother.
You're losing weight.
Yeah.
More. Don't lose any more weight. Okay. Hare Bol.